Hey guys, in this video, we're going to take a look at one of the hidden gems for RV camping in the state of Alabama. I'm talking about Oak Mountain State Park. Now, Oak Mountain State Park is Alabama's largest state park at almost 10,000 acres in size. So it takes up a lot of space on the map. However, I don't hear a lot of talk about this state park outside of our state. If you have ever driven through the state of Alabama, there's a good chance that you went right past Oak Mountain State Park because it's located just about 20 miles south of the city of Birmingham, and it's pretty conveniently located near Interstate 65, which runs north to south, or south to north if you prefer, through the state of Alabama. So a lot of you folks from up north who have driven down to the beach to enjoy the Florida Panhandle and the Alabama beaches have probably driven right past Oak Mountain State Park. In this video, we're going to take just a brief look at what you might have missed and why you might want to stop next time. First of all, what can you do at Oak Mountain State Park? Well, as I've mentioned previously, state parks have a lot going for them because unlike national parks, there aren't so many restrictions prohibiting you from having fun. There are a lot of ways to have fun at Oak Mountain. First and foremost, on this channel, we want to discuss the camping situation. There is a very nice RV campground at Oak Mountain State Park. In fact, just this year, the campground reopened after receiving, I believe, more than $13 million in renovations. So some of the facilities, which were quite dated previously, have now been updated. So here's a look at our campsite in the B loop of beautiful Oak Mountain State Park campground in Alabama. What it lacks in trees, it makes up for in concrete. We have a really large, spacious, new concrete parking pad, the perfect place for a comfortable shakedown cruise before we take our RV rig on the road full time. This site is conveniently, perhaps too conveniently, located right next to the entertainment pavilion where groups can gather, and also the brand new shower facilities, which look very nice. We also have a water hookup, electricity, and the critical sewer hookup. In addition, we have one standard issue American wife who is hard at work.
Standard issue?
No, one upgraded American wife. Hard at work with some duct tape and bits of string, trying to squeeze one more season of life out of our water heater.
Shh, don't let it hear you say that. He is young and spry.
I foresee some cold showers in our future.
And has many years of life left.
Yeah. Spring chicken.
Yep.
Lest I forget, we also have a brand new picnic table with a nice little hook apparatus where I guess you can hang your lanterns at night. And we have a fire pit. So this is not the most private campsite in the world, but I have to admit it helps when you don't have neighbors. For some reason, the next door campsites are unoccupied at the moment, so we can just relax and enjoy our large slab of concrete. Looking good. Who doesn't like hot dogs and hamburgers? Would you like a cameo appearance on Long Long Honeymoon? This is the luxurious buffet on the Shakedown Cruise. Here's a look at one of the new pavilion areas here at Oak Mountain State Park. It is a big empty space with sort of garage-style doors on either side of the pavilion. So I suppose you can open these doors and have a breeze flowing through the area. There's also a nice ceiling fan in here, a mounted TV set on the wall, and not much else. But apparently you could cram 121 persons in here. That would be a lot of fun. And someone has thoughtfully left behind a Frisbee. All right, bear with me, my first Frisbee toss in a while. The entire campground has not only been repaved with fresh asphalt and fresh concrete parking pads, it has also been replumbed at great expense. So there's fresh plumbing throughout the campground and also fresh electrical service. So those of you with the big old 50 amp rigs can come here with some confidence that you're gonna have a reliable 50 amp connection at your campsite. At Oak Mountain, you will find hilly terrain and lots of trees. Oak trees, pine trees, maple trees, dogwood trees. You name the tree, there's a good chance it's living here. There's plenty of forest scattered throughout the almost 10,000 acres of this park where kids can run around and explore, and lots of walking trails. There are small walking trails scattered throughout the park, and there are more ambitious hiking trails in the park. There are plenty of birds residing in the park, including bluebirds. And there's actually a bluebird trail throughout the park with bluebird houses. Why? Because everybody loves bluebirds. If you don't love bluebirds, there's something wrong with you. And by the way, in addition to RV camping sites, there's no shortage of tent camping sites. You can see in a tent campsite, you've got a nice level area to pitch your tent. You've got a fire pit, you've got a grill, and a pole from which you can hang a lantern. You also thoughtfully have a picnic table and a retaining wall. As part of the recent renovations, a new state-of-the-art children's playground was added adjacent to the campground area, so kids can come over here, burn off energy, and make their parents happy by wearing themselves out. They've even included an animal tracker here at the campground, although I must point out there aren't really any bison, wolves, grizzly bears, or alligators in this particular park. Maybe that's a good thing. Now, when I was a kid, the slide would have been straight and made of metal, so you would have scorched your skin going down it. Back in my day, we didn't have no squishy, soft, cool to the touch walking surface. We burned our bare feet, we skinned our knees, and we loved it. You know, in a way, this children's playground illustrates something about state parks that is wonderful and why many people prefer them to national parks. You would never find a playground like this inside a national park, but these state parks are actually operated as parks. Oak Mountain is a park. It's not a museum. The goal here is not to preserve the blades of grass for the next generation. The goal is to get out, enjoy the great outdoors, and have a good time. In a state park, you can go out and make a video without being sent to jail. Isn't that nice? This is obviously one of the new restroom facilities which has been built here at the campground. Let's take a look. Only 2 genders are allowed inside this restroom. Here we have a toilet, a urinal, and a sink to accommodate the really intoxicated. Please do not urinate in the sink. That will rightfully get you expelled from Oak Mountain State Park. For better or worse, this campground now has gated access to each loop. You must have the secret code to get past the gate. Unless you're leaving. no code required if you're making a quick getaway. I wonder if he stole that boat. Here we have the newly constructed campground check-in office and store. Let's take a peek inside.
Yes, my dashboard. Thank you, sir. Y'all have a great day.
All right, so that was a look at the campground check-in office and store. And the store seems to be well supplied with pretty much everything you would want within reason in a campground store. The A loop of the Oak Mountain State Park campground contains more sites of this nature that are significantly more private and more shady. And I mean the good kind of shady. Not the Walmart parking lot at 3 a.m. kind of shady. Some of the campsites may be smaller. They may not be paved necessarily, but these sites also feature the fancy new plumbing and electrical hookups. Water, power, and sewer. What more does a person need? A-Loop has also received a beautiful new bathhouse and laundry facilities. We have 3 dryers and 3 washing machines of the Speed Queen variety. Price to wash, $1.50. The price to dry, an equally reasonable $1.50. So, $3 to do a load of laundry, and I will point out it is air conditioned inside the laundry room. And each one of these restrooms is individual. In other words, you've got everything you need right here. This one's vacant. Let's take a quick look. Someone has thoughtfully left the toilet seat up for persons of my gender. So you've got a toilet, you have a sink, you've got soap, you have an accelerator drying fan, and shower facilities with a bench, a seat, and stainless steel hardware. And these facilities are also cooled, which is very important in Alabama in the summer. And I think this might be a motion detect cooling thing. I don't know. It seems like when you walk in, the AC kicks on, but it works and really helps. Is it hot in Alabama in summertime? Does a bear poop in the woods? Yes, it can get hot in Alabama in the summertime. But, we're here in late June, and it's surprisingly comfortable in the shade. Now, you're not going to want to linger long in the direct sunlight, but your comfort really comes down more to humidity than to heat. You've heard the old expression, it's a dry heat. Well, in Alabama, it can be a wet heat. But today, there's really not that much humidity, and it's surprisingly comfortable out here. A moccasin, I hope they aren't referring to water moccasins, which are nasty snakes that we have here in the South. The trails here are clean, well marked, and really not crowded. I mean, for example, this particular trail that is directly adjacent to the A-Loop in the campground leads down to the nearby lake, and right now I'm the only person on it. School is out for the summer. You'd think this place would be packed, but I walked down to the lake here next to the campground, and I'm the only person down here. Nothing but quiet and solitude. It's just me and the water moccasins. And we're only 20 miles away from downtown Birmingham. This spot really illustrates something I appreciate about this state park. There are several lakes in this park. On some of the lakes, they allow watercraft. You can go stand up paddleboarding, of course, bring out your canoes and kayaks. They even have a marina here where you can rent watercraft and go out and enjoy. Some of the other lakes are pristine, quiet, and if you just want to go down and hang out by the lake, reflect, get away from everything for a while, it's a great place to do so. So you've got both in a state park. If you're into swimming, there are several sandy beaches scattered throughout the park. Some large, some small. And one of them is located adjacent to the campground. So it's a great way to beat the Alabama heat. Here we have a beautiful beach, but please, no Fido and no IPA. Really, there's so much to do at Oak Mountain State Park. It's not easy to show it all in one video. For example, there is an aqua park that operates inside Oak Mountain State Park. It's called Flipside, and it has an inflatable obstacle course on the lake. Technically, this sport is called cable wakeboarding. Not to be confused with waterboarding, which is what happened down in Guantanamo. You can ride a horse, you can rent a horse, or you can bring your own horse. You can even camp with your horse. There's a special equestrian campground that is separate from the main campground at Oak Mountain State Park. If you have a horse and a horse trailer, you can camp right here. In fact, pro tip, you don't even need to have a horse to camp in this campground. You can just park your big fifth wheel or motorhome right here. Really nice big pull-through sites. They're unpaved, but it's easy entry and exit. And to top it all off, Oak Mountain even has a bicycle motocross track.
It teaches kids who are putting in work that they can win, because you need to believe you can do it. And we love for people to come out, whether they're racing or just riding. This track is open to the public anytime the park is open and the track's not wet and we're not having an event.
Is there a fee to ride on the track?
There is not. It is complete. It is included with the park admission.
What? You're into archery? Oak Mountain State Park has got you covered. There is a full archery range here in the park. Although you're not going to find bison and grizzly bears, there's plenty of wildlife at Oak Mountain State Park. What about snakes, you might ask? Well, it's funny you should ask. I just saw a huge rattlesnake here in Oak Mountain State Park. So I can confirm there is at least one massive poisonous snake. Why did the rattlesnake cross the road? I don't know. I didn't linger too long to ask too many questions. I'm sure that my video does not do it justice. I have previously seen timber rattlesnakes in Alabama, which are relatively small. But for the most part, you're not going to see too many snakes. I promise. There is also a full 18-hole golf course here at Oak Mountain State Park. This course has been named one of the top 75 public golf courses in the country by Golf Digest. Now, personally, I do not golf because I do not enjoy public humiliation. Well, except for on YouTube. But if you do enjoy golf, this is a great place for you. So that's it, guys, a look at beautiful Oak Mountain State Park in Alabama. What makes this park unique, as you can see, is the wide variety of activities you can pursue out here. And believe it or not, there are some other activities out here that we have not even delved into. For example, there is a wildlife sanctuary where wild birds that have been injured are healed. We'll talk more about that in a future episode. As John Lennon once said, life is what happens while you're busy making other plans. You know, back when we were first getting into the RV lifestyle, the first camping trip we took was to Oak Mountain State Park, and we stayed in one of these sites back here in the A Loop. And we had just a wonderful experience getting to know our RV and kind of learning the ropes and making big plans to get out there and see the country. And while it's fun to make plans about crisscrossing the continent or circumnavigating the globe, life often happens right in your backyard. Wherever you live in the United States, odds are there will be a beautiful state park near where you could take your RV and enjoy. So I recommend that you do so. And so I highly recommend Oak Mountain State Park. If you're passing through the state, you should have this one on your radar screen. I have to say, I do have one major complaint with the Oak Mountain State Park campground, and that is the checkout time. 11 a.m. Come on, guys, this is not a hotel. Let us linger and enjoy the morning. Well, there's always room for improvement, isn't there?